And so coming into extended child's pose, whatever variation of extended child's pose works for you. So if those arms, if it feels good to have those arms really extended out, then extend them on out long. Maybe they need to have a little bend in them. Wherever you land, just allow the body to settle for a moment. And find the breath. So see if you can allow that belly to relax. Nobody can see, just let it drop towards the floor. And find the breath. Nice little long deep breath all the way down into the belly if you can. Filling up those lungs, filling up those ribs. Let's draw that belly in a little bit more. Or draw it in now, draw it in towards the spine. Reach those hips back as you inch those fingers forward. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, shift forward, tuck the toes, lift the knees up to downward facing dog. I know it's early, so let it be easy. Let the feet be wherever they want to be, and then start moving. There's no right or wrong. Just start exploring the body. Again, it's early, so the body probably hasn't done much this morning. I know I have some people that kind of get up early and go for a walk or something. And so if you're one of those people, then this is going to feel different for you than someone who's, just barely rolled out of bed and had a cup of coffee. So just notice. Maybe rock back and forth between down dog and plank. Maybe not. Whatever. It doesn't matter. And let's take it down to tabletop. So get those wrists right under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and just shift those hips from left to right, side to side. And as you come over to the side, pause and see how low you can get those hips towards the floor till you feel like you're gonna fall over. So going a little slower, hovering a little longer. Maybe twice on each side. And back to center. Nice inhale into cow. Exhale, cat. And let's get those toes involved. So either on the inhale or the exhale, doesn't matter which one, tuck those toes and then let them rest down on the opposite. So maybe inhaling, tucking the toes, exhaling, resting down, or vice versa, doesn't matter. All right, let's tuck those toes, lift those knees up, press back down dog, stretch it out, and drop right back down to the knees. Walk the hands back towards the knees and rise on up. And give those wrists a little love. Just roll them on around. Wake them up, maybe make a fist and roll them around. Maybe tuck the fingers down and give a stretch. Let's draw the belly in. Tilt the hips back like we were going to come back into a baby camel. We're not, but we want to get set up like that because we want that foundation for our side bends. So interlace the fingers. Make sure those knees are right underneath you. There's some space in between them so you feel stable. Press the palms up, draw the belly in, Squeeze the glutes a little and come on over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. So going back and forth at your pace, use your core to take you from side to side, using that breath to lead the movement. So we want to end on the left. So the next time you come over to the left, finish there. Come back to center, inhale, press up, and release those arms down. Give those shoulders a little roll. And interlace the hands behind. Again, tilt the hips back, draw the belly button to the wall behind you. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as you press down through the knuckles. So if you're really tight here, those arms aren't going to come straight. If you let the heels of the hands come apart, so you're just squeezing the insides of the fingers together, that might help them get a little more extended. Try not to let the chest pop out. So we don't want to end up in a back bend here. Pull the belly and solar plexus in and squeeze the glutes. If you're a little more open here, maybe you squish the hands together and press down and lift up. That's a lot, especially to not let the chest lift. So you really got to work that core if you're doing this variation. Inhale, maybe now go ahead and lift the heart a little, and exhale slowly. Release back down to tabletop. Shift the hips from side to side. And let's inch those knees on over to the left side of our mat and walk. And we want to bring this right hip straight down outside the knee. So we don't want to push the hip back. We want to come down so that kind of our thigh is parallel to the front of your mat. Okay. And then we're going to gently twist. You got to kind of lean into it a little bit. So we're not going to be right over the hips. We're kind of leaning in this. Let's just start twisting to the right. Use your fingertips to support you. Gentle. We're in a little bit of a side bend here. I don't love this twist. I rarely do it for this reason. For Radvajasana, I do not like it very much. Come on back and start to walk those hands in to get yourself right above those hips. And you can kind of let this left knee slide back a little bit so it kind of drops down. And then just see how upright you can get. Just notice how it feels on the back. And then hopefully you have a clean enough floor that you feel like you can slide on down to that elbow. Use a blanket underneath it if you're on wood floor or tile or something that's really hard and bothering you. You want that elbow straight out from the hip. So there's kind of this line here. And then go ahead and reach that left arm up. Nice inhale. And exhale, bring that arm overhead. Push away from the floor. So push your right ribs away from the floor as you reach. And then draw that left hand towards the floor, kind of curving out that arm. Trying to kind of create a little curve, a C shape in the body. And then slowly release. Come on up. And just kind of spin to the left a little bit so you can slide that right knee forward. So now it's facing the front of your mat. And slide that left knee behind you. So now the foot is right in front of the thigh. Okay, so we've got this knee kind of aiming straight forward and this one kind of just hanging out over here to the side. It's almost like our windmill, but this foot's tucked in a little bit more. So same thing we did before. Get those hands to support you to try and sit upright. Just listen to your low back because it is a side bend in the low back because our sacrum is over here and our spine is here, which is fine. It's fine. We just don't want to force it. Okay, so just notice. See if it feels okay. This might be too much, so don't be surprised if it is, if you bring that right arm up. Okay, if it is, then keep it down on the floor and you can just push and come into the side bend. If it feels okay, then you can bring that arm up and go to the left. Breathe, notice. And it's going to feel a little early for this. Your body's going to be like, what the heck? Come on forward. Plant those palms, push up, slide that left knee behind you. You might have to readjust that right leg a little bit for pigeon. So look before you go. How do you know? This knee is straight in front of the hip. This heel is right in front of the thigh. So that right heel is right in front of the thigh. Inch that left foot back until you can get onto those elbows. Draw the belly button towards the floor. Say good morning to your right hip, your right thigh, glute, and find wherever feels right for your body. If you're not getting enough stretch, as always, bring that right foot forward a little bit, but make sure you can come back to those nice level hips. So if I came and put a little level on the back of your hips, that bubble would be right in the middle. Just find the breath here. And see if you can pull the heart forward a little bit and pivot the hips forward. Just getting a teeny bit more stretch, not too much. And lift the head. Find the hands, get them ready for down dog. Tuck the back toes under, inch that left knee forward a little bit. So you're kind of using your toes to inch the knee forward so you can push up and lift that back knee up like you're in kind of a half plank. Lift the right knee up, use your core, and just step it back to down dog. Pedal the feet, rock the hips. Find some movement here. Get that shock out of your body. Like, why did she do that so early in their practice? And maybe you're rocking back and forth. Maybe pedaling the feet, rocking the hips. Whatever feels good. And let's take it back down to Utthita Balasana, extended child's pose. Nice, slow, long, deep breath. The belly relax, coming into that nice, deep belly breath. And release back up to our downward facing dog. Bring those feet into railroad track feet. So you've got 5-6 inches or so in between those feet. Root those hands. Draw the belly in as you push on back, pushing those hips towards the back wall, drawing the heels down, gaze in between the ankles, squeeze the shoulder blades, especially the bottom inside edge of the shoulder blade. So think of the shoulder blade on your back, and it's about the middle back that shoulder blade ends. So think of the bottom edge of that and draw them towards each other. And breathe. And then bend those knees, drop them on down to our tabletop. Maybe those wrists have to come back a little bit. Shift those hips from side to side. And then nice inhale into cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more. And walk those hands towards the knees and rise on up. Okay, so once again, tilting those hips back, drawing that belly button to the wall behind you as you squeeze the glutes. And let's find a home for those hands. So either fists, fingers aiming down, or if you want a really good stretch for those fingertips and maybe the forearms, then maybe those fingers can go up. That's a lot though. We're not super warmed up. So listen to your body. Just draw the elbows together and open up the chest. Pull those shoulders back. So keep that pelvis tilting back. So belly button to heart is pulling to the wall behind you, and then reach the heart up towards the ceiling. Only as far as feels good. Listen to your body, starting to get into the front of the hips a little more. Reach the chin. So don't just let the head drop back. You're reaching through the chin as the head goes back. And use your core to slowly lift you forward to tabletop. And shift those hips from side to side again. Okay, and let's inch those knees on over to the right edge of our mat. And then start to drop that left hip down. Watch where it goes. We want it, again, kind of straight from that knee. And then we're gonna let that right knee slide back just a little bit so we can bring that hip forward. You can play around with a little bit. Maybe that knee needs to come forward a little bit more. Okay, but you wanna feel like you're not twisting a whole lot or side bending a whole lot. You wanna feel like you can get upright a little bit. Okay, and then let's just lean off to the left a little and just start twisting gently, gently, gently. Do not force this twist at all. I'm not going to be able to get into the upper back much on this one. Okay, and come on back. Start walking those hands towards you, right? Especially that left hand we're using to try and push us up right over those hips. And we can let that right knee pull back a little bit to get it a little more upright. And slowly release. Take that left knee and inch it forward a little bit, just enough so we kind of, and maybe you lift up and come back down so that bottom is free. So this left knee is straight in front of the hip, and then this right knee is kind of right off to the side. All right, let's come on down to that right elbow and reach that, or sorry, left elbow, and reach that right arm up. And draw it overhead as you push away from the floor. So push those left ribs away from the floor as you draw that right arm alongside the ear, and then try and draw the right hand down towards the floor a little bit. So you're curving that arm, kind of feeling like you're making a little bit of a C shape from the hip to the fingertips. And then slowly release, rolling it forward so you can get to those hands in front of you. Push on up, bring that right knee behind you and realign that left knee. It's pretty close to where it needs to be, but just make sure it stayed there so you've got that knee in front of the hip, and then find your way into pigeon pose. Take a moment. It's going to be different on this side. Squaring off those hips. Pivot the hips forward, draw the belly down. And just observe, notice how this side feels compared to the others. And bring those elbows to where they need to be. Maybe they go a little wider if you're really low. Find that breath. And pull that heart forward. See if you can pivot the hips forward a little more, drawing that tailbone away from the floor. And then tuck those back toes and bring that knee forward a little bit, that right knee, and press on up to the hands. Get the hands where they need to be for your down dog. When you're ready, stretch that left leg back. Readjust the feet to railroad tracks and push on back. Let's go ahead and take those feet a little wider, where they would be for staff of Brahman or ragdoll, because that's where we're going. Press on back first though. Draw that belly in, squeeze those lower shoulder blades together, and then bend those knees and walk those hands to the feet towards the back edge of your mat. Half lift when you get there, inhale. Exhale, hinge. Pausing here, saying good morning to those hamstrings. Nice flat back. Reaching all the way through to the crown of the head. So feel that long neck, length in the neck, all the way through the whole spine. And then go ahead and bend those knees. Grab those elbows on your way down, dropping into ragdoll. Just gently holding the elbows just enough that they don't fall towards the hands, don't fall towards the floor. And then let the arms drop heavy, like they're just going to fall out of the shoulders. Those arms are just going to detach because they're so heavy. Same with the head. Let it really relax. Let the weight of the arms and the weight of the head gently pull on the upper back and shoulders, getting some reverse traction in the neck, in the upper back, and even in the shoulders, right? And let's let those arms fall and slowly take it up to standing. Take your time. Coming up however feels good for your body. Eventually landing at the heart. Little bend in the knees. Take it up. Nice inhale. Pausing here, maybe a little baby back bend. If you're back bending, make sure you're really reaching up through that heart. And then dive it down, arms to a T, hinge at the hips. Come on down till you get that stretch again. Pausing, reaching out through those fingertips. Slight bend in the knees as you lift back up halfway. Just straight out in front of those hips. Reach through the sitting bones, reach through the fingertips. Gaze in between the ankles. Nice inhale, reach. And exhale, let go. Back to our ragdoll, this time letting those arms dangle though, letting them just fall to the floor, towards the floor. Let go, let go, let go. Get heavy, get heavy, get heavy. And slowly bring it up. Take your time on this one. Next time we'll come up a little faster with one big inhale. Eventually landing back at the heart. Bend the knees. All right, let's coordinate with that breath. Nice big breaths, nice big inhale up. Nice releasing exhale, dive. Nice big inhale overhead, bend the knees slightly. And nice releasing exhale to the floor. Let go, let go, let go, let go. When all air is gone, bring it up in one big inhale, arms stretch out. And then back to the heart, bend the knees, exhale. Nice big breaths, inhale up. Extend those breaths. How long and deep of a breath can you get? Exhale, dive. When you're ready, bring those arms overhead, big inhale. And releasing to the floor on your exhale. Again, when all air is gone, bring it up. One big inhale up, arms come out. Back to the heart. Again, with your breath, nice big breaths. And if you forget the movement, don't worry about it. Just keep moving and breathing. It doesn't matter. We're going to go through for 2 more actually, so you can kind of feel that rhythm and that flow with your breath instead of mine. Eventually, we'll all meet back at heart center. Take your time getting there. And then we'll drop it down into yogic squat when you're ready. So open those toes. The feet need to go a little wider. Bring them a little wider if you need the hands to help you. So I always have to bring the hands to the floor to get me positioned because of my knee, just to take weight on pressure off the knee. And then I see if it feels okay to take my hands off the floor and bring those elbows inside the knees and push those knees away. So push the knees away as you draw the thumbs towards the heart. Sit up tall, sink into those sitting bones. Toes should be light if possible, if you can sink into those heels enough. And those feet, you want to feel weight in the whole foot. So try and find that Padasana in the foot if you can. And hands to the floor, walk it back forward into our downward facing dog. Pedal the feet, rock the hips. Trainees are like, dear God, we just did all this. And shift forward and back and forward and back, and use your core. Get that core warmed up. But can you feel what else is going on here as we're doing this, right? All right. Next time you press back, stretch it out there. Bend those knees, step those feet forward to the front of your mat. Railroad tracks. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hinge. Maybe grab the backs of those legs this time and pull in a little deeper for those hamstrings. Only as deep as feels good. Listen to your body. And let's bend those knees and lower the hips down till they're right behind the knees if you can get them that low. So we're just squatting on down and laying right on top of those thighs. Extend those arms straight out in front of you, gaze in between the big toes. And just breathe. Try not to let your butt drop lower than your knees though. Keep those thighs parallel to the floor if you can. And let's bring the arms along the sides into airplane arms. Draw the belly in as you sweep the arms back forward alongside the ears. Keep the arms parallel to the floor as you rise up into Utkatasana. So knees are apart, they're going right over the toes. So if you look down, your toes have disappeared because the knees are covering them right up. Arms straight out from the shoulders. Find the breath, find the gaze. Find Padasana in the feet. Toes are light. Find that breath, feel the heat building in the thighs. See if you can bring those arms up a little bit without losing the rest of the pose. If you go really slow, you might be able to keep the whole pose. You might not. All the way up, inhale, and exhale to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale, arms down in front of you, parallel to the floor. Sit down in your chair. See how low you can go. Keep those, take a peek down at those knees. Make sure they're going right over those toes, or you can just feel the weight kind of in the outside of the foot a little bit. Come back down to those thighs. Bring the arms into airplane arms. Interlace and squeeze the shoulders. And then release. Lift the hips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hinge. Bend those knees. Step that right foot back to low lunge. Nice big step back. Grab blocks if you have them at home. 2 blocks if you have them. One isn't really going to help us out here. But it might actually. If you only have one, it would be on the right side would be helpful. Okay, if you don't have blocks, I'll show you a variation on how to do it without blocks. Okay, so let's find our low lunge. Lift that back knee up. Press back through that heel. Get those blocks right underneath the shoulder if you have them up on the tall side of the block. Inhale is going to be lifting the knee up, sinking the hips down. So you're kind of bending that left knee past the ankle to get into the front of that right hip. Make sure you lift the knee up. Push away from your blocks and lift the heart. That's going to be our inhale. Exhale. Straighten the left leg as much as you can. If it doesn't come all the way straight, that's okay. And then hinge with a flat back. Okay, so if you don't, so that's going to be your rhythm if you have breath. If you have, you have blocks. Okay, if you don't have blocks, a couple things you can do. You can use fingertips, and you're just not. You might have to drop the knee down a little when you go back and forth. Alternatively, you can come up to the thigh and have the hands on the thigh and do it a little higher. It's a little bouncy going from your lunge to your forward bend. That's the only thing. So if you have one block, that's where the block helps, is under the right hand for balance. Right? So you can just use it underneath that right shoulder and go back and forth. So either way, just find a flow. Our purpose is opening up the front of the right hip, stretching out the back of the left. So as long as you're doing that, goal accomplished. Inhaling into your lunge, your deep lunge, your sinking lunge, and exhaling into your forward bend. That's all. Right, and the next time you inhale, go ahead and drop that knee down to the floor. Toes stay tucked behind you, rise up to the knee. Okay, so draw the belly button, just like we did in our baby camel earlier, belly button to solar plexus, to the wall behind you. So this right side of the body is almost back in that baby camel. Okay, push into both feet. Keep all of that drawing back as you shift the hips forward a little bit. So you're now not right over that knee anymore, but you're not letting the hips pop forward. So pull the belly button and solar plexus back as you shift forward just a little bit till you start to feel the front of that hip. And then go ahead and bring up that right arm if it feels okay. And just breathe and keep pulling back, belly button to solar plexus. If this is feeling really good, maybe you lift the heart and gaze. If that's feeling amazing and you want more, then go back. If it's not feeling really good, then why would you go any further? Only if it feels good. And I've got a couple of you that are probably dying to bring that other arm up too. If that is too much, please don't do it. Listen to your body. Belly button to solar plexus is still pulling back. Breathe. Slowly release. Take your time. all the way down to the floor. Plant that right palm down, let that back foot rest, and sweep that arm open. So that left arm, push away from the floor, reach for the ceiling, and pull the shoulder open to get into your twist. And let's go ahead and bring that arm down along the side of that left arm. And you might have to reposition the right hand a little bit, so you can kind of play with that to see where it needs to go. But let that left knee fall open and let the foot lift and just sink into that right hip. Just let it fall towards the floor. Okay, lift the hip up, tuck the back toes. Here goes my block. And come to the kind of the outside of that right knee, so you can come to the outside of the right foot, like your right side is going to come towards Vashisthasana. We're not going to lift it up off the floor though, but you're on the side of that leg. And then bring that right hip down just like we just did. Let the left knee fall open. The foot's lifting off the floor on that left side, and just draw the hip down as you push away from the floor with that right arm. And just sink. Keep going, as low as feels okay. That hip can probably drop closer to the floor than you think. And then slowly release, come back around to center, both hands inside the foot. Tuck those back toes under, lift the knee up and bring it down, just so it's back at center. Inhale, push up through the arms, and exhale, draw the chest down. It's like this flowing lizard. So inhale up, or moving lizard, exhale, down. And as you go down, that knee can fall open a little. All right, the next time you come down, see how low you can go. We're not going to bring the elbows to the floor, because some of you, if you're really open here, you might be able to bring that chest even lower than you would for lizard. And come on up. So there's this variation for those of you that can do that, where they wrap the arm around the leg. I don't like it because it puts you into a side bend. So I like to keep those elbows or those hands underneath us when we do it. All right, let's come on up. Oh, how are those hips feeling? You're going to find out in just a minute when we step back to the front of our mat. So open up those toes, those left toes. Get those hands up, come on up to fingertips. Tuck the back toes under, lift the knee up. Inhale. Exhale, spring it forward. Get your feet where they need to be for yoga. Squat. Drop it on down. Oh my goodness. Feel the difference between the left hip and the right hip. And you really feel it when we come up. And slowly come up. Take your time. Use those thighs. Turn the toes forward. Let the arms come down. And step those feet in. Back to our railroad tracks. Notice the difference between the left hip and the right hip. All right, hands to the heart. Nice inhale up. Exhale, dive it down. Hinge. Uttanasana. Standing forward bend. And go ahead and step that left foot back. Take a moment to get situated. Grab your blocks if you have them. Whatever you did on the other side for our flowing lunge. All right, so when you're ready, taking that nice inhale, sinking those hips down, lifting that heart up, pushing that heart up, and then exhaling into your forward bend. And again, just a block underneath the left hand can help. And the next time you inhale, go ahead and bring that knee on down. Toes stay tucked. Okay, rise up. Belly button to solar plexus. Pulls to the wall behind you. You're almost coming over that knee. Keep that all pulling back as you bring the hips. You're just bending that right knee a little bit as you pull the solar plexus and belly back. You start to feel the front of that left hip. Keep your focal point. Stretch that left arm up. Nice inhale. And go deeper as feels appropriate for your body. Take your time. Keep the belly and solar plexus pulling back. Keep breathing. And slowly releasing all the way down to that left palm. Let that back foot rest down. Push away from the floor. Reach for the ceiling. And open on up into your twist. And then let that arm just kind of fall down along the side. And just let that right knee fall open. Lift the foot up off the floor and sink the left hip down. Okay, same exact thing, but we're gonna come to the outside of the leg. So lift the hips up a little bit, tuck the back toes so you can lift the knee, to spin the knee in towards center a little bit so you can come to the outside of the knee and the outside of the calf. And then take a moment to make sure that feels okay before you start sinking that left hip down again. And you're kind of pushing away from the floor. Again, you might have to reposition that left hand a little bit so it feels like it's where it needs to be, to push away from the floor as you sink the hip down. See how close to the floor you can get that left hip and have it feel okay. And just let the right leg relax, just kind of hanging out there, falling open. Breathe in. Slowly release, start to spin towards the front. When you have both hands on the floor, tuck the back toes, lift the knee up, bring it back down. Okay, do any repositioning that has to happen so you're right inside that heel. Inhale, push up. Exhale, bend the elbows, draw the chest down. Inhale. Find your rhythm with the breath, really sinking into that right hip when you draw the chest down. All right, the next time you come down, see how low you can go. Keep those shoulders even. And if you come to the elbows, but you can go lower than that, right? You should draw the head down. Maybe the head can touch the floor. Some of you were laughing at that. You're like, yeah, right. And come on back up to those hands. Open those toes. Hop that back foot forward. Take your time. Oh, do we have to do another yogic squat? Let's do a half lift first. Toes turned out. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend those knees. Yes, we have to. It evens everything back off. Push those knees open. Last one though. Well, you know how I am with that. I always say last one and then we end up doing one more. Push those knees open. We're not gonna do one more because you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring our hands behind us and we're gonna plop our butt down on the floor. So that way we don't have to worry about another one coming. Stretch those legs on out in front of you. Come on, knee. And wiggle those sitting bones back. Okay, so let's start with those ankles shifting forward. So just kind of lean back for a moment. Go ahead and lift up that right leg and just roll that ankle around. And then shift the ankle forward and bring it down the other side. Just roll it around both directions. Notice how one direction is easier than the other. And shift that ankle forward, bring that, get a cramp. And then wiggle those sitting bones back. Okay, flip those fingers to the back wall, squeeze the shoulder blades together, press into all 10 fingers, and push your heart forward. Maybe those sitting bones wiggle back a little more. And come on up. And let's go ahead and flex those feet now. So reach through the heels, draw the toes towards the shins, reach the arms up overhead. Take a nice big inhale, exhale, reach for your toes. How close to them can you get? If you're really flexible, it might go past, or you have long arms and torso, right? It's just, I have short legs, so it's easy for me to get there. We're inhaling up and exhaling down, just coming in and out of it. Don't worry about a flat back. We're not holding it, so I don't care as much. We're flowing, just trying to really get into those hamstrings, that low back. Just flow in and out of it. All right, and the next time you inhale, release there, let those arms come down. Wiggle those sitting bones back, grab whatever you need for your forward bend. So if you have a strap at home and you want to hook the balls of those feet, go for it. If you grab your legs or use your hips, then use whatever tool you can to try and get yourself forward. This time with a flat back, opening up those shoulders, that heart is reaching forward. And slowly making your way deeper. Again, as you go deeper, maybe those sitting bones have to move back. Keep that heart reaching. Find the breath. Settle in. Slowly going deeper as the body allows. Looking for your edge, your 7, 7.5 on your scale of 0 to 10. And come on up. Bring that left foot over the right leg. And slide it on up. Actually, let's lift it right up off the floor. So kind of interlace your fingers below the knee and hug the knee into the chest, right into the heart, and sit up tall. So roll forward onto those sitting bones, and pull the knee into the heart. And then put that foot down wherever it lands, as high up, as close to you as you can. Reach the right heel, pull that knee in, wrap that right arm around, sit up tall, and twist to the left. Close the eyes, a little deeper twist than we've gotten so far today. Breathe. Inhaling up, exhaling open that last little bit. And come on back to center. Reach that left arm up, nice inhale, exhale, come on over to the side. Stay open, reaching, breathing, noticing. And slowly release. Bring that foot inside the leg. And you can find a home for that foot wherever feels appropriate for you. So if you've got knee stuff and the foot needs to stay at the knee, that's okay. Maybe you can bring it up a little higher. Just watch what happens to that left hip, trying to keep it from pulling back too much. And then come forward whenever you're ready. Janu Shirshasana. Again, same thing here. Maybe you use your strap around that right foot. Maybe use that left ankle to help pull. Maybe you use the left hand outside the hip and grab the right leg or the right shin if you don't have a strap. Come on forward. Keep that heart reaching, nice flat back. And come on up. Nice inhale, get tall. Exhale, twist to the left again. Use that right hand against that knee to twist. Try to get into that upper back. Rolling that shoulder open, turn the head into the twist and breathe. Inhaling up and exhaling open. Breathing there. Come on back, reach that left arm back up. Nice inhale, exhale back into your side bend. Keep going, use that right hand to push into, to push the left ribs over to the left and root down into that left hip. Trying to get down into that lower side body, those hip connectors, if you will. And slowly release back up to center. Stretch that leg on back out. Hug the legs back together and find your forward bend, whichever variation feels better for your body right now. So ankles shifted forward or feet flexed. Either way, find your stretch. And release. Let's go ahead and bring that right foot over and then kind of lift up and bring that right sitting bone forward a little bit as you hug that right knee into the chest. So interlace. Lift that foot right up off the floor so you can pull that knee in and then shift forward on those sitting bones so you're sitting up nice and tall right over center. Hug it in and then plant that foot down. Try to keep that knee where it is as best as possible and wrap that left arm around and find your way into your twist. Staying tall, reaching through that left heel as you open and breathe and notice. And find that last little bit. And come on back, reach that right arm up. Take a nice inhale, exhale, side bend. Stay open, try not to twist. It's a little bit harder on this one not to twist. And come on back up, bring that foot inside the leg. Wiggle those sitting bones back. Find that position for that right foot, wherever you had it on the other side. And then come on forward when you're ready for your Janu Shirshasana. Keep that breath going wherever you end up. Notice how this side feels compared to the other. And bring it on back up. Nice inhale, get tall again. Exhale, twist to the right once again. Using that hand against the knee to push. Sink into that left hip as you twist. Roll that shoulder open. Close those eyes and tune into the upper back. We're trying to get the whole spine. Turning the head into the twist, breathing there. Inhaling, staying long. Exhaling, opening. And come on back, reach that right arm up, take a nice big inhale. Exhale, come on over to the left and use that left hand to push into, to root down into that right hip and push into that right side body. So push that right side body over as you reach and find your depth and breathe. And come on back, bring that left foot in to meet the right into Baddha Konasana, bound angle. And come on, knee. Doesn't want to do it today. So grab those ankles or those feet, whatever feels best for you. Get those feet where they feel like they want to be, as far as how far away they are. And then draw the knees down as you pull the hips forward. Maybe opening those feet, pulling them apart with the book. Draw the belly in as you sit up tall and try and draw those knees forward. Breathe and notice. And then release. Slide those feet forward a little bit. So you've got a little bigger opening here. Slide the hands underneath the ankles, palms facing up. And then keep sliding them through, rounding the back as you go, as far as they'll go. And then let the head drop. Maybe those palms press, if they're through far enough, maybe they press into the tops of the feet. Maybe you wiggle the hips from side to side so you can wiggle those sitting bones back and get the hips forward a little bit more. And that might let you bring the head down a little more. Maybe not. Listen to your body, find your breath. And slowly release your back. Go ahead and bring those knees right in. When you get there, maybe give a little rock if it feels good. And pull those knees into the chest and slowly lift on up. The head off the floor as you draw the cheeks towards the knees. If you can reach the heels, grab them and pull on in even closer. If you can't reach the heels, then just use the shins. See how close into those knees you can get. Breathe. And slowly release. Bring the feet to the floor. Get them where they need to be for bridge. We're not going to hold bridge right now. We're going to go up and down, but we're going to get those feet ready for it. So wiggle those shoulders in a little bit. Press into those shoulders. Lift the hips up. Take a nice inhale. And as you lift up, don't think of just the hips lifting. Think of the chest drawing towards the chin and the thighs reaching up towards the ceiling as well. Try not to let those knees fly apart. Inhaling up and exhaling down. So if you like the variation where we bring the arms up overhead on the inhale, feel free to do that variation. If you don't want to do that this morning, then don't. Just flow up and down with the breath. And the next time those hips hit the floor, stay there. Drop the knees from side to side. Drop them to the left and take that right foot out from underneath. Bring it on top of that knee and push that left knee down towards the floor. Right knee. I don't remember if I'm in mirror image or not. I don't think I am. Right knee towards the floor. And pull away. So you're pulling the right ribs and shoulder towards the mat on that side, and then you're pulling the right knee towards the floor on the opposite side of the mat. Breathing, noticing, and releasing. Feet hit the floor, hips lift, come on back down, even off the feet, and then drop to the other side. And then bring that foot out and find your stretch on this side. Notice how this side feels compared to the other. Roll those left ribs towards the floor, that left shoulder, and then pull that left knee down. And come on back. Feet hit the floor, hips lift, and come right back down and draw those knees back in once again. Giving a little rock if it feels good. And go ahead and kick those feet up, grab the ankles, and draw the knees down along the sides. Find the breath. And so we're coming into this happy baby. Using those ankles or those heels. Pull the center of the back of the hips down into the floor, so that sacrum feels done and feels ready to settle into your final relaxation. Grab what you need and start to settle in. Take your time. Final relaxation today, whatever pose that is, it doesn't matter. It needs to be comfortable. And then once you feel comfortable enough, starting to let the body relax, just feel that initial drop. Feel everything just drop and get heavy. Think ragdoll in the arms, let it go. Feel the shoulders melt into the floor. Feel them just drop and get heavy. And that heaviness makes its way out into the arms all the way to the fingertips. Feeling the arms and shoulders heavy, sinking. Feeling the lungs and heart drop into the ribs, the diaphragm. And feel those ribs get heavier into the floor, backside of those ribs. Notice the hips and the belly. See if you can feel that sinking downward through the hips. The pelvis is just dropping down, feeling a little extra weight, a little extra heaviness in the buttocks. And the heaviness of those hips relaxes the legs. Feeling the thighs and calves. get heavy. All the way down to the toes. And then the face and jaw. Maybe give the jaw a little wiggle if it needs it, if you're a clencher like me. So coming back to that breath again. And on the inhale, saying to yourself, so. It's like you're trying to stretch the word so out long enough to last the whole inhale. And then same with the word hum. So it's on the exhale, hum. So you kind of feel the buzz, the imaginary buzz. If you're actually saying it out loud, you'd feel that little buzz on the H and the M. So hum. So just play with that a little, see how it feels. And again, if it's not working for you or whatever, then just let it go. The purpose is to stay connected with the breath, the here and now. It's creating dharana, single pointed focus, something to help our mind stay here. That's all. Noticing where the mind is at in this moment, bring it back if it's wandered, just for a few more breaths here of letting go, of being here with the body, with the breath, in full consciousness. And then shifting your awareness to the body, just noticing how the body feels in this moment. And then slowly allowing movement to make its way back in whatever way feels right and good for you. Eventually stretching, wiggling, moving your way upright to seated. Take your time getting there. Eventually landing in Anjali Mudra, prayer at the heart. Finding that long spine when you arrive, tucking the chin, finding the breath again. And taking a nice big inhale here at the heart center, lifting the corners of those lips up towards the ears as you bow down. Letting the corner of those lips lifting turn into a smile of gratitude.